Alright, hello and welcome to another Devstream breakdown. So, I'm gonna be real honest. A lot of this was them just talking about PoE and a lot of things that we already knew. So, this is gonna be a pretty fast one. So, with Plains of Eidolon though, we got a tentative release date, which is mid-September, so it's coming at the end of September. And then we learned that PoE is going to be before the cinematic quest, which is going to be the one involving Umbra. So probably, maybe we'll get Umbra at like December, end of the year, it would be my guess. Which would be a nice little Christmas present. Besides that, we know there's going to be a special area for operators in PoE, which is basically there's going to be a character that you are going to learn how to fight the Eidolons from. Which is kind of interesting. And we learned that the restrictions for PoE are going to be squad restricted. There's not going to be like a million players out in the field. It's going to be up to how many you can have in a squad. Originally, as we heard at TennoCon, they were hoping to be able to make it like raid size, which would be 8 players, which would have been really cool. But I'm personally not too disappointed with it being like 4 players. That's totally fine. And then we learned a very important detail, which is that Archwing in PoE is pretty much all TBD right now. So everything that we've seen involving Archwing and how it functions is completely like none of that shit is on paper, basically, as like this is how it's gonna work. And they don't want people to just be like in Archwing just doing Archwing abilities all the time and fighting all the enemies that way. So that is good things to clear up, I suppose. Besides that stuff, we saw a new polearm stance, which is, thank God, like, as I just said in this week's Why Would You Use, we are in dire need of a good polearm stance. Mostly one that just, like, has, like, a good flow and doesn't have combos that are just kind of a pain in the ass. So I'm really, really hoping that that can fulfill that, and that, I hope that would come before PoE, but it might come with it. Other than that, we got to see one of the new ghoul units, which is, disgusting. I'm gonna go with disgusting. That seems like it's on the low end, but disgusting. We'll stick with that. I don't even know what this guy could possibly... He's just fucking gross. Just straight up gross as fuck. Beyond that, we know we're going to get the Pharaoh Kavat skin finally. That is going to be from the merchant who had the Pharaoh Kavat with him in PoE. Besides that, we learned a little bit about the weapon crafting. It's confirmed that each blade for the blade or blunt object, whatever, for each weapon is going to be what the mastery is tied to. And also Scott talked about there being some multi-staged crafting. So basically you'll build like a starter weapon and it'll have a certain stat line, and then you will then use better materials to make it into like the full-on version of that weapon. Which is pretty interesting. It's a weird way to go with it, but I can see, like, with their goal of making this both a thing that you do early on and also something that you do much later, you can get the early materials and have a cool weapon that you built as a new player, but then also much later on, you'd be able to come back, maybe fight the Eidolons, get some new parts, and then make that weapon way, way better, which would probably be, a pretty good way to go. And we also know that some of those upgrades are going to be tied to Ostron standing, which is... That makes sense. Like, getting the parts from the Ostrons themselves just makes sense. So, that's kind of all there is to this Devstream breakdown. Unfortunately, there was like a lot of cool stuff that they showed. We didn't really get to see the Eidolons themselves, unfortunately. But, yeah. That's what's up. If you're seeing this, I'm probably streaming right now, so if you want to come head on over to Twitch, we're going through some more stuff on the free-to-play. I'm going to be trying to get my mastery level up. I think I've kind of made myself some new goals on the free-to-play, so hopefully I will see you there, and otherwise, I will see you tomorrow.